I'm Linda Jaramillo, and I'm a management leadership consultant, and I do facilitation work with nonprofit organizations and the different kind of the county and so forth. So it's really a pleasure to be here, and I thank you to Hillsborough Public Library for the invitation to come and moderate this evening's session. It's wonderful that we have this opportunity to hear from all of the candidates for Hillsborough City Council as we prepare ourselves for this election time. I want to start by letting you know that you've seen the agenda, but what we'll be doing is each candidate will have 2 minutes to do an opening statement, and then we'll move into the questions, and each of those questions the first 2 questions are a 1-minute response, and then the third question is a 2-minute response. And we have a great timekeeper right here in front, so there is no need to worry and watch your clocks, because we're doing that for you. And I am just delighted to see you all here. And I'd like to invite the candidates for Ward 1, if you would come up to the stage, please. What we'll be doing is taking each ward separately, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. It is certainly my pleasure to be here this evening and invite our candidates for Ward 1 who are seated before you. And we're going to, you see the list and you see the order that they're in, so they'll be offering at that time. So I'd like to invite Beach Pace to open for us with her 2-minute statement, and then we'll go to the questions.
Great, thank you, Linda. Hello and good evening. My name is Beach Pace. I'm one of your Hillsborough City Councilors. And tonight I'm asking for your support and your vote for Ward 1, Seat A. I'm running for re-election to Hillsborough City Council because I would like to continue my service. My previous experience includes I'm a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, and I served in the U.S. Army for 7 years, both domestically and overseas. I have 9 years experience in corporate America, so I understand business. For the past 15 years, I have led nonprofits, and I'm currently the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, serving the Portland metro area. I have a master's in public administration, and I currently serve as a board member with the League of Oregon Cities, and my service there allows me to understand issues outside of Hillsborough that can impact us. I serve on the Budget Committee, Transportation Committee, Hillsborough 2035 Committee, and have previously served on Planning Commission. I've also been married for 21 years, and I have 2 teenagers. My wife and I chose Hillsborough, and over the past decade, I have volunteered, which gives me the opportunity to have great conversations with neighbors and new friends, and it has provided an experience that has subsequently informed my decisions on City Council. Some of that service includes leading service days at Hillsborough schools, where we paint murals, build benches, build shelving, etc., volunteering for other candidates on local, state, and national levels, service at parks by getting rid of invasive species and conversely getting muddy down at Jackson Bottom Wetlands, putting in new plants, and helping local business with cleanup and recovery after the fire downtown, volunteering in all sorts of weather for COVID testing and vaccination sites. And I believe I'm the best candidate based on my background, experience, leadership, and service. I encourage you to go to my website to learn more at electbeachpace.com, and I ask for you to vote for me, Beach Pace, for Ward 1, Seat A, on or before November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now let's follow with the questions if we could. First question is, if elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address your top priority in this position.
Linda, was he going to go, or do you want me to go now?
Actually, I think we'll just go with each candidate.
Okay.
Is that the way you'd like to do it, Linda, or should we have each do an opening statement? We're very flexible.
One first and then the second one. So opening statement from Pat.
Yeah, so then Pat goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Great. If we're nothing, we're flexible. Welcome. This is Pat Rebellia, and he will be offering an opening statement within our 2-minute time frame. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And I won't be taking the full 2 minutes because it's an opening statement. I want to thank the library for having us come here and to talk about our campaign and our run for the City Council. I have on the front table, I believe, or the back table, some campaign material to know a little bit more about me. So please help yourself. I have a history with Hillsborough. I've lived here almost 26 years. I was born and raised in Hawaii. I look forward to running for the seat. I think I'm qualified because of my experience with Hillsborough to do that. And you can learn a lot more about me, maybe too much, I hope, in looking at my website at Friends of Pat Rebellia. So that's it. That's my opening statement.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's come back to, is it Dr. Pace?
No.
No? Beach Pace?
Say captain if you want.
Captain? We can do whatever you'd like. All right. Let's go back to question 1, and I'm going to go back and forth so each can answer the question, and you have 1 minute. Let me state it again. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that's your top priority in this position.
Thank you. My top priority is housing. We have just over 40,000 units right now in Hillsborough, 40,000 units of dwellings. And we need 16,000 more dwelling units by 2036. So this means that each year we need approximately 800 to 1,000 units each year, new additional units. We have a housing needs analysis going on right now with the results due April 2023. And my main goal in my next term is to be prepared as much as possible to be ready to build those units. That means working with the requirements under House Bill 2001 and with landowners, homeowners, developers, nonprofit organizations, and others to make sure that we get those units up as soon as we know what type of units we are needing. I'm also proud of the work that I have done on council. For example, we have 150 units going up at Nueva Esperanza. We worked with Bienestar, a nonprofit organization, to make sure the number and type of units would be appropriate. I have a track record of getting things done and will continue to do that work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Rebellia, let me repeat the question. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
Thank you. My top priority, it's Hillsborough's economy. And it's important that we have a very strong economy because that fuels and that pays for the quality of life we have here and the many fine community services that this city provides. Without that strong economy, those services may decline or disappear. So how would I do that? Well, again, the economy is the basis for the city's prosperity. And that prosperity is so important for all of us in this room and all of us who live here. How would I do it? Well, I would advocate recruiting for new capital-intensive companies. I would work towards expanding the city's UGB for more industrial large development sites. There's a great demand nationwide for those sites. I would put the city in position to use and get the benefits of the U.S. CHIPS Act, $52 billion.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're past the one. Thank you so much. Let's go to question 2. Please describe an experience, expertise, or a passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Yes, thank you. I have 4 sectors of experience across the military, corporate, nonprofit, and government. And inside most of that experience, it's been all about results-driven service and leadership and staying current and relevant to pressing needs. I received extensive leadership training at West Point and was able to practically apply it in the Army, in corporate, nonprofit, and my time on City Council, as well as the boards and committees I serve on. My leadership has been tested through my time in the Army, as well as leading a nonprofit through the 2008 Great Recession, and most recently with the pandemic, leading Big Brothers Big Sisters through that and growing through that and successfully leading on council. All of this experience has enabled me to be a well-rounded counselor and to listen, learn, lead, and take action on council and in the community on many issues, not just a single issue like land use. In addition to land use, I'm also well-versed in housing, houseless issues, the creation of a vital economy, transportation, environmental stewardship, public safety, and more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me repeat the question for you, Mr. Belia. Please describe an experience, an expertise, or a passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Thank you. I was born in Hawaii, went to Pacific University on a full football scholarship. I have a master's degree in urban and regional planning, a law degree, and I've been licensed to practice law in 3 states, practiced in Oregon, and practiced in Hawaii. I'm a former Hawaii state representative. For 20 years almost, I worked for the city. In the last 6 years, I was its planning director before I went to the consultant field. I've managed the city's growth, South Hillsborough and North Hillsborough UGB expansions. So all of those 20,000 houses in South Hillsborough came about because of that. I'm going to bring to the council the experience of an executive branch problem solving. I think I'm the only candidate that has that capacity and that ability. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, our next question, we're going to give you 2 minutes to answer this question, and I will come back to you, Ms. Pace. If elected, you will serve an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Sure. Well, I'm proud of the work that I've done already on council, advocating for diversity, equity, inclusion. And in fact, it's the first of our 10 council guiding principles in 2022, and it has been our guiding principle since I joined in 2019. And you should know that I'm passionate about the work because of my own experience. As a woman in the military, it was a tough go. And I was dealing with discrimination and microaggressions in some cases daily. As a lesbian, I know what it means to be refused service, refused housing, or even refused a job simply based on who I am. So DEI work is personal for me. In that vein, I will continue to advance DEI at the city council level and continue to advocate for it to be a guiding principle in the work we do on council. And I'm particularly proud of, there's a few things here, so buckle in, the Supplier Diversity Program to advance racial equity and the spending of city dollars on the local community and throughout Oregon. $1.5 million at the start of COVID, specifically April 2020, with a focus on minority and women-owned businesses. And many of those businesses are still in operation right now, providing jobs to community members. I was part of establishing a director of equity position, and I would continue to push to have a full staff of DEI staff there. The inclusive and adaptive playground that will be going right out there, and that will provide a play space for children of all abilities, and I'm really excited to see that go in. The focus of Highlight, the city's broadband, to be first installed in communities of need and schools. Workforce equity program to make sure the city staff reflects the community, and there's compensation equity there as well. I'm also proud of Hillsborough Pride, and we had the very first Pride flag flown at the Civic Center this year. We've even looked at how we communicate with the community and improved there. DEI is not a destination, it's something you arrive at, and it's a journey and constantly evolving. And we can always do better, and my intention is continue to lead in that effort, as I have done over the past 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Mr. Rebellia, let me repeat the question. This one, you have 2 minutes. If elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diversity in our community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Thank you. Thank you. The city has a great array of DEI programs. How can I contribute to that? Well, my contribution to that is to work towards securing its future funding sources. You know what those sources are? They're legislatively produced. They're called gain share, and they're called the strategic investment program. Those are the programs through which the revenues that support all of these programs that you've been hearing about come about. And they're about to expire this year. The next legislature will be taking it up, and some have questioned the fairness of that program. What if the funding for those programs and those sources go away? There's a real risk. You know, some of you know, I think all of you know that Intel's talking about downsizing, that the city has no large industrial development sites, that you have difficulty in trying to work towards Jackson East redevelopment. These are things that can stall the city's growth and its economy. And if that economy goes, many of the programs will decline or disappear. We need to protect gain share. We need to protect the strategic improvement investment program. We need to be at I would love to be at the legislature in the next session advocating strongly to protect those things and to renew those things. They are so important to the welfare of the city's economy and the continuance of their program. But I will also work to expand the city's UGB. It needs the development to maintain its leading national role as a high-tech center for Oregon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Now, we're going to give each of our candidates an opportunity to make a closing statement, 1 minute, to wrap up with closing remarks.
Great. I'd like to thank the library, Linda Asuna and Linda Jaramillo. Thank you for hosting and for creating the opportunity to talk with you at this event. I do want to address something that my opponent said, that he's the only person with executive leadership. I was a commander in the United States Army. I was a vice president in corporate, and I'm currently the chief executive officer. So I do have executive leadership experience. I'm also your only candidate in this race with extensive experience across 4 sectors, and I'm a results-driven leader. And I've delivered on more housing units, providing homeless shelters, increased economic vitality by attracting more business, and supporting small business. I've improved multimodal transportation in the form of better roads and 100+ new miles of bike lanes. I've helped champion environmental stewardship and supported public safety. I've been all in with Hillsborough over the past decade, and I would like to continue to be in service to this wonderful city. And I ask you to vote for me, Beach Pace, Ward 1, Seat A, on or before November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we go to Mr. Rebello. Would you like to make a closing statement, sir?
Yes, thank you, library, again, for having this event. I think it's so valuable for the community to hear what the candidates have to say and can present for you. Other than that, I'll just close by saying, I think I can do the job. I can bring so much experience to the council, so much problem-solving experience for this city, because if we don't continue its prosperity, the whole community will feel it from the top to the bottom. Don't want that to happen. It's not good for all of us. Again, thank you, library, and good luck to my candidate.
Thank you so much. Would you help me thank them for sharing? And you can see the map for Ward 1 up here. Thank you so much. There's only one way off of this stage and one way on, so we're going to shift to Ward 2. And just so you know, there's the Ward 1 map. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me introduce by name, and then we'll go to the questions. I'd like to welcome Chris Adzima, is that correct? Ian Barrett, Ken Knowles, Nicole Masprieto, is that not person on here? And Jerry Shamoun and Kipperlyn Sinclair. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to open it up for your 2-minute introduction, opening statement. And again, you'll know when your time is getting close to being up, and then you'll get the signal when you see the other flag come up. So I'm going to start with you, Mr. Adzima. 2-minute introduction.
Thank you. My name is Chris Adzima, and I'm running for Ward 2, Seat A. And I have experience in the government I've served in the United States Army, and I also currently work for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Also, I've been a longtime volunteer at the Hillsborough School District with multiple committees on that school district. So I do have the experience for government and representing people. A little bit about myself. About 7 years ago, I moved to Oregon after living in many different places in the country. I've lived in 25 plus cities, 8 different states. And when we finally got here, I truly found the home for my family and myself. We found the people we like. We found the community that we have tried to belong to our entire lives, and so we're very happy to be here, and that's why I feel strongly about serving on City Council, because I love this community so much. I've found my home here. I wanted to mention that I am not taking any campaign donations. I believe very strongly in keeping money out of politics, and so I made the decision to run this campaign with only my own money, which is probably why you haven't seen a lot of my yard signs. You haven't seen any mailers from me, because running a very cheap campaign to keep the money down. So anyway, I wanted to make sure that that was known, that I do believe that money should stay out of politics, and that we should run on the merits of who we are. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me go to Mr. Barrett, a 2-minute introduction, opening statement, sir.
Hi, thanks everybody for coming. As you can tell from my accent, I'm British born, and I've lived in this country for 22 years, solely at Hillsborough. And I felt it was time that I gave back to the community. I'm actually a bit of a world traveler as well, experiencing a lot of different countries and working, which I can bring to the table here. I think I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barrett. Let me go to Mr. Knowles. If you could give us a 2-minute opening statement, sir.
Hi, my name's Ken Knowles. I'm running for Ward 2 seat A. I came to Hillsborough 14 years ago. This is a great place to live, with fantastic facilities such as this new community centre, and it's such a multicultural society. I love it here. I'm running for this position because initially there was nobody running, and we need people to make this continue the greatness within Hillsborough. So I've had experience within Washington County boards. I've volunteered for unhoused shelters here, so I have quite an in-depth experience. I've done CERT, I've done the Citizens Academy. So, I come from a very analytical background, and I feel I always contribute different perspectives to any issues that I'm involved with. And that'll end my statement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me go to Mr. Shamoun. Would you give us your 2-minute opening statement, sir?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, and thanks for having us here tonight. My name is Jerry Shamoun. I'm running for Ward 2. A little bit about myself. I'm married to my beautiful wife, Veronique. We have 4 kids together. I've been serving this community for the last 20 years, first in the military, now in public service. Been very blessed. Living the American dream to me is something of a source of pride. During my time in the United States Marine Corps and working in the Sheriff's Office, I've had the opportunity of serving some very honorable people and some pretty amazing people. My grandparents came to this country with their 8 children to have a better life, to work hard, and to be successful. This country has done so much for so many. It is truly a special place. My experience of working with government agencies and nonprofits in Washington County make me uniquely qualified for this position on the City Council. I will bring a different perspective and opinion to the table with my 20 years of law enforcement experience, and I have worked directly with the homeless population in Oregon. I also have a proven record of getting things done. One of my best qualities is being able to get multiple stakeholders to buy in on projects and get them completed. Some of the things I want to do is improve the community, and not do things that would take away from the community. I want to thank you all for your time tonight, and I hope I can earn your vote.
Thank you so much. Let me go to Kipperlyn Sinclair. Would you give us your opening statement, please?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Kipperlyn Sinclair, and I'm running for Hillsborough City Council, Ward 2, Position A. Local governance is about civic representation, people, place, policy, and priorities. For me, the city of Hillsborough means the people of Hillsborough. I am running for City Council because I am committed to serving our community in both policymaking and in council priorities. As a 30-year Hillsborough resident, the small business owner of Eat Drink Washington County, and as a civic advocate, I believe in the power of public engagement. I have actively served our community, and be patient with me, I've done a lot of engagement. I have served as a graduate of the Hillsborough Civic Leadership Academy. I have served as a Hillsborough Planning Commissioner, and I have served as chair of the Hillsborough Public Engagement Committee. I have served as a member of the Small Business Entrepreneurs Council with the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. I have served as a board member of the Hillsborough Downtown Partnership, and I have served as the chair of the Hillsborough Wishing Tree Initiative with the Hillsborough Downtown Together Committee. Given my experience, I consider myself to be a service-driven candidate, and my term as a councilwoman will reflect this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now let's go to the first question. Reminder that it's 1 minute, and here it is. Let me go back to Mr. Azima. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
Yes, my top priority is to address housing insecurity in our city. I would make sure that when we look for land use for housing, that we include multifamily dwellings so that people can afford to live here and fill all those jobs that we're going to be creating. But we need to make sure that we have the affordable housing and not just housing that is geared towards people who make more than the median income for our city. So I want to make sure that we plan for low rent, low cost options for families who are well below that median household income, and ensuring that they feel welcome in the community by not putting those in places that are not necessarily prime real estate. We want to make sure they feel welcome in the community, not just off to the side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Mr. Barrett. The question is, if elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
One of my passions here is the seismic protection in schools, especially some of the older ones who may not have had it installed during construction. And besides protecting our children, it would also keep the buildings open for use for organizing and feeding the local population around the school. So I'm going to arrange, if elected, to set up a survey of all the older schools.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barrett. Can we go to you, Mr. Knowles? The question is, if elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
So I would address housing, like many others. I feel there's a lot of need for unhoused members of the community to have a community established. Rather than just housing, they need to be welcomed and feel part of the community. If they're not part of the community, then we have issues. I have a unique perspective in this. I've worked and spoken to many unhoused people of the community. They come from multiple demographics, and I feel I have a unique perspective to try and address this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to you, Mr. Shamoun. Same question. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
One of my top priorities, if elected, would be to improve the systems in which a city is cleaned up. That will be done either by community service programs, contractor programs, or adding to code enforcement responsibilities. Over the last few years, we can all agree that the city has not looked the same. The main roadways are covered with litter and shopping carts. If you drive down Baseline or TV Highway, you see it. We have tents along busy roads. We have people camping illegally behind homes and green spaces. Over the last few years, the failure of the city and county leadership has added to this problem. Right now, we have a migration of some of the big issues in Portland heading out to the suburbs of Gresham, Beaverton, Vancouver, Hillsborough. If elected, this won't happen on my watch. City of Hillsborough needs a council that will stand up for the City of Hillsborough's needs and not give in to Metro's or Portland's agenda.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to you, Ms. Sinclair, and I'll repeat the question. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
Thank you. If elected City Council, it is my priority to support small independent businesses. Locally owned businesses play a central role in healthier communities and help diversify our local economy. Small businesses in the restaurant, retail, and hospitality industry are sadly disappearing. Many of our small businesses have taken a hard hit for nearly 3 years due to the pandemic and now face extinction due to inflation. Our businesses need help through public policy that breaks barriers, zoning that supports small business opportunity, and mixed-use development that supports first-floor retail space. And finally, pedestrian-friendly infrastructure that engages our community on the streets of our community.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let me go to the next question. Please describe an experience, expertise, or a passion that distinguishes you from other candidates. Mr. Azima.
Thank you. I have a passion for service. As you saw, I mentioned my service in the United States Army, my service now for the community, working with the Sheriff's Office. I feel this strong passion because I grew up very poor. I grew up sometimes not knowing where my next meal came from, sometimes not knowing where I was going to sleep that night. And I worked really hard to get to where I am now, where I have secure housing, I have a job, and I have everything that I need for me and my family. And I strongly believe that it is now my duty to turn around, and after I've reached the top of the ladder, to turn around and reach down and help the next person up. So that's what I want to do. I have this passion for service, and I have this passion to help my community because my community helped me to get here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Mr. Barrett. Here's the question. Please describe an experience, expertise, or passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Well, I'm seeing that most of the tasks that this City Council does appears to be involving developments of city areas. The 67 block, 10th Street, and Jackson East, for example. I have extensive construction experience over 50 years. So I would have the ability to understand what it's going on and also help in getting all the requirements for the least amount of money.
Are you finished?
Done.
All right, thank you so very much. Let's go to Mr. Knowles. The question is, please describe an experience, an expertise, or a passion that distinguishes you from other candidates?
I have a strong skill set in bringing the right people together to do the right job. One of the things that I have experience with was dealing with the seismic replacement of the dam. And within that, as the lumber yard is going, I would work with the Washington County and Hillsborough to try and get rid of the rail tracks that are a pain to all of us going along TV Highway, and improve reach crossing and work within that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me go to you, Mr. Shamoon. Here's the question again. Please describe an experience, expertise, or passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Some of my experience and expertise is improving site security and completing community projects throughout Washington County. Gives me a solid base to work from when dealing with the current crime crisis or homelessness issues. One of my jobs was to improve high crime areas and to clean up the neighborhoods and to help neighborhoods take back their neighborhoods. I have a ton of experience working with the government agencies and trying to cut through all that red tape, actually get things done and a positive outcome. My experience working with different agencies and nonprofits helped me navigate to the right people to get the right outcome.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Ms. Sinclair's question is, please describe an experience, an expertise, or a passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Thank you. Public engagement, community trust, and collaborative experience sets me apart in my candidacy. Over the past 5 years, I've dedicated hundreds of volunteer hours in civic advocacy. I have prioritized my time in building meaningful relationships. I have created impactful initiatives, and I have shared local resources that build collaborative networks throughout our city. I believe that my service as Hillsborough Planning Commissioner, Public Engagement Chair, and a member of the Small Business Entrepreneurs Council have all prepared me for this moment in running for local office. I believe that I am the best candidate for Ward 2, Position A. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, our next question is going to have, you have a 2-minute limit on this question. And we'll start over here, Mr. Adzuma, and I'm just also going to remind you that the map is behind us, so you can kind of get an idea of where Ward 2 is. Let me ask you the question. If elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Thank you. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that's been extremely important to me for my whole life. And I've served on committees to further in the school district, further diversity and equity in the curriculum that we utilize. And at the Sheriff's Office, I serve on the Data Equity Committee to ensure that we collect and distribute data in an equitable manner to see bias and try to change it. I do believe that everybody deserves to feel like they belong in the city that they live as their authentic selves. And I would look to ensure that any policies we make and any changes that we make or any changes that we or anything that we continue to do allows everybody who lives and calls Hillsborough home to feel like they can belong as their authentic self. I also want to evaluate systemic bias in our city's processes and work to remove those biases to ensure that we as a city have the best diversity and equitable experience for everybody who lives here. As a father of a non-binary child, I know how difficult it is for people who find themselves marginalized on the outside and not fitting into the correct boxes that society feels they should fit in. So I will work to ensure that everybody feels at home here, and I would ensure that we have those policies in place to make sure that they feel at home here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me go to you, Mr. Barrett. Question 3, 2 minutes. If elected, you will serve as an important and influential, you'll have an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
I am aware that the city has extensive programs in place for EDI activists, and it's imperative that we keep the funding and the personnel to be able to do this. All need to be treated with respect and listened to, and occasionally make people laugh. As you're aware, I am a British. I'm also a Muslim, and do not hide my diversity. But I'm finding that inclusion and ageism is becoming a hurdle to be beaten. So I shall work within the council to try and overcome those barriers. As I've said before, I've worked in and lived in many countries, and within that period, everybody gets treated with respect. I work with Koreans and Italians, Chinese, and it's a respect that we don't see here too much. Even my family comprises of 3 nationalities. My wife is Egyptian, I have an Algerian son-in-law, and of course myself is British American, or American British, you choose. So what I would do is make sure the City Council is, I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Mr. Knowles. I'll repeat the question, 2 minutes. If elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Hillsborough has a wealth and diverse population. We need to draw on the expertise and cultural knowledge of all those different people. Hillsborough's boards at one stage had exclusions for non-US citizens. Hillsborough has a lot of non-US citizens that could participate. I petitioned the council to remove that restriction. That restriction got removed. I want people to be enabled to participate in the community. One of the things that happened was we had Zoom meetings. We allowed mothers, working mothers, to participate within board meetings. We need to continue these sorts of advances, use technology and resources to enable everybody within the community to participate. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let me go to you, Mr. Shamoun, and here's the question. Again, you have 2 minutes. If elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Thank you for the question. I want people in the city to feel welcome, appreciated, and respected regardless of what they look like or where they come from. I think it's important that people are heard and respected. We're lucky to be in the city. It's already so diverse and so talented already. People from all over are part of this community, and there's so much opportunity for people if they work hard and push themselves in this community. America is one big melting pot, and that diversity is a strength, and other countries can't compete with it.
Thank you so much, sir. Let me go to you, Ms. Sinclair. Here's the question, 2 minutes.
Thank you.
If elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, How will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Thank you. Diversity, equity, and inclusion must be at the forefront in leadership and should exude from one's core values. The goal is to eliminate barriers to entry when creating policies, programs, and systems for people of all personal and professional backgrounds, people of color, and people from historically underrepresented communities. In the past few years, we've experienced some very uncertain times. During this time, I took action to create the Hillsborough Wishing Tree Initiative. In 2019, I believed our citizens needed a voice, a safe place where they could openly express themselves. Together with civic and city leaders, we created a space for community to share their written wishes, hopes, and fears on the willow tree at the corner of the Washington County Courthouse lawn. The core value of this initiative was to build trust and convey a sense of belonging in our community. I have conveyed time and time again through my efforts and my actions in serving community, my inclusive core value beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have our last closing statements that each of you is allowed to make. That's 1 minute each, please. And I'll start with you, Mr. Adzema, 1 minute.
And first, I'd like to thank the library for putting this on tonight. I think it's great that we were able to come here and discuss all these issues with you. I want to say that affordable housing, making sure that it is there for our community, will provide the employees that small businesses need, and it will provide the housing that is needed to ensure that there aren't homeless camps on the sides of our roads. So that is why affordable housing and housing insecurity is my #1 priority, and I hope that it is too for you. I'd also like to say again that everybody does deserve to feel like they belong in the city that they call home as their authentic self. And so I want to make sure that I lead that way and bring the policies that will allow everybody to feel like their authentic selves in their home. I'd like to invite you to vote for me on November 8th. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Barrett, 1 minute, a closing statement.
Well, I feel very honored to be here. And oh dear, my mind's gone blank. Finish.
We can go on and come back to you. How about you, Mr. Knowles? Will you make your closing statement, please?
Thank you for everyone for attending. Thank you for the library for putting on this event. Thank you for the candidates for wishing to serve the community. I hope everybody takes an informed choice and makes the right decision and vote for Ken Knowles for Ward 2, Position A. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knowles. Mr. Shamoon, 1 minute closing statement, please.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for their support tonight, and I especially want to thank my beautiful wife, Veronique, for putting up with me. I know being a deputy, doing real estate, and running for local city office is pretty busy. I know I'm a busy guy with 4 kids, and I care deeply about my community and my family. That's why I'm running. I don't just think we can do better as a society. I know we can. I want to make sure we're setting the next generation up better than it was set up for us. It's important that we tackle some of these issues head on and not with our heads in the sand. The taxpayers deserve that. They deserve that. And I appreciate being here tonight. Thank you all for your support.
Thank you so much, sir. Ms. Sinclair, your closing statement, 1 minute, please.
Thank you. My actions have proven that I understand the significant time and dedication that it takes to be an effective city councilor, and I want to further my commitment in serving our community's interests. Your vote is the greatest trust that I can receive. I ask for your support in voting for Kipperlyn Sinclair for Hillsborough City Council, Ward 2, Position A. Before we wrap up, I want to convey my gratitude for everyone taking the time to be here and engage with the our local voting process. I also want to thank the Hillsborough Public Library for organizing this forum, and thank you to all the candidates sitting here. I also want to thank my husband. He's been a huge source of support in this process, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Barrett, would you like to say anything else? I knew you had a little more time. Would you like to say anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. Would you help me thank all of these candidates who and don't forget where Ward 2 is. Thank you. And now we'll welcome the candidates for Ward 3. Thank you all so much. I just want to thank you for coming and hearing and listening, and Hillsborough Library. Good job. So what we're going to do, you can see it's not up there yet. Okay, we'll get Ward 3 up there, I'm sure, very shortly. So at this moment, I want to introduce our two candidates. Olivia Alcare, who is in Ward 3. Do you think I know? And each of these candidates is going to have 2 minutes for their opening statement, and then we'll go to Yvette Pantoja. So you want to start?
Thanks, Linda, and thanks everybody for coming tonight, and to my opponent for being here as well. I'm Olivia Alcare, representing Ward 3. I'm seeking re-election to keep my seat on Hillsborough City Council and to serve 4 more years. I was appointed in 2017 and elected in 2018 and hope to continue to be your city councilor. My experience on council is influenced by my family and upbringing. I'm a Latina and the second person to go to college in my family next to my dad, who earned a bachelor's in mechanical engineering through the GI Bill, while my mom grew up as a farm worker in the Imperial Valley with an 8th grade education. Values from my parents that I bring to council is hard work and make time to serve, care for family and community, invite people to the table, listen to what they need, and identify sustainable solutions. Education, develop policy to support education and career pathways, because an education is liberation. I've been working in higher education since 2003, first PSU, then PCC, and supporting first-generation undocumented and other marginalized students with pre-college prep, access to education, retention to stay in school, and completion through a variety of student development roles. I have a BA and an MA in Mexican history, a master's in adult education, and a doctorate that I'm finishing in education leadership at PSU, focusing on the experience of Hillsborough High School 17-year-olds who are preparing to go to college and are getting ready for their last year. I moved here in 1985 from San Francisco, joining my family up here, and moved to Hillsborough in 2001 after spending some time in Portland. And then I bought my first home in 2004 in Arbor Roses, and it was an affordable home. And I am grateful to be able to own a home, and that is a big deal for me. I see possibilities when people are given a chance, and I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. I also want to call your attention that Yvette is Pantoja, it's not Avalos, and when you see it on the ballot, you're going to see it as Yvette Pantojas. Yvette, would you like to open with your 2-minute statement?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Yvette Pantoja, and I'm running for Ward 3, Position A. I was born and raised in Hillsborough. I went to public schools here and graduated from Glencoe High School. I grew up doing many things here, like going to the farmer's market, the county fair, or your local Mexican bakery on 10th Avenue, like many of you. I am a first-generation Mexican-American, a millennial, the granddaughter of a farm worker. I am part of the new wave of young small business owners. I own Briar Rose School, and because of that, I have been able to create stable jobs in our community. I was part of the 51% of renters in Hillsborough, till last June when I became a homeowner, on track to create generational wealth. I am the co-chair of the Child Care Resource and Referral Advisory Board of Washington County. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go to question 1, Ms. Alcare. If elected, please share one specific thing that you would do to address your top priority in this position?
One of my top priorities is resolving homelessness. So I care about resolving homelessness. And first, thank you. I didn't ask, but I didn't say, but thanks for inviting us here today. Advocating for homeless services, I worked for 6 months with Community Action and had an opportunity to work with a program called Career Boost, where I was helping homeless people find jobs and housing, both of which were difficult for them. They had to have job skills, and competing to try to get stable with a job and housing was nearly impossible. When I learned about the number of experiences they had in accessing our services around the city, it made me think about what were we doing in voting and setting policy for homeless folks, and what could we do better. So I would propose transitional homeless housing services to help people with stability, host public meetings with community input when considering sheltering locations, share city efforts to serve the homeless community with nonprofits and in partnership with local governments, and enhance wraparound services to be inclusive of individual well-being and ability to set and meet personal goals.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Ms. Pantoja. Same question. If elected, please share one specific thing that you will do to address something that is your top priority in this position.
If elected, continuing to build a strong connection with businesses, especially our Latino businesses, will always be a top priority for me. As someone who has their own business on 10th Avenue in Maine, I understand the difficulties that we have encountered all too well. I understand the meaning of having an overhead, the responsibility of a staff, gaining the trust of parents to trust me on always having the best judgment for the safety of their children and well-being. Continue to help businesses with the setback caused by COVID. Their recovery is still ongoing. Now, more than ever, we have to be supportive as we face a new economic challenge, inflation. As it continues to rise, we have to be creative on how to continue to keep our businesses afloat.
Thank you so much. Let me go to question 2. You have 1 minute. Please describe an experience, expertise, or passion that distinguishes you from other candidates.
Listening. Meet community members where they are. Understand what they do and don't like about our city policies, and identify ways to engage them in finding solutions. Testimony. I've met with people who were victimized by crime, impacted by fire, waited for the police to show up, help new business owners understand city permit processes and timelines as a part of their daily life. Community, understand community members, they deserve to know how our local government works, and council cannot wait for people to show up to the Civic Center. Presence. Council needs to show up and host meetings across the city in locations that are accessible by public transit. Work hours around family, dinner times, transportation issues, and childcare. Brave. I'm not afraid to step into situations for greater understanding or to ask questions that may not be popular with the rest of council. Raise awareness.
We're out of time. Thank you. Let's go to we're still at question 2. I wasn't going to forget you, I promise. Please describe an experience, expertise, or passion that distinguishes you from other candidates. 1 minute, please.
Tenacity and hard work is something that is innate in me. A few years ago, I worked at a facility that came to a catastrophic collapse that left families without childcare and staff without work. As a problem solver that I am, in that moment, I decided I was going to open up my own business and provide a safe space for families and create employment. I worked tirelessly to get my business up and running within 2 weeks. A year and a half later, the pandemic hit, and like most of us, everything in that moment seemed insurmountable. My business was able to prevail by seeking solutions, like forging a partnership with the Hillsborough School District and loaning them 4 of my staff members for their emergency childcare center, and I helped them out as well. Having connections with each other in our community is what's going to help us continue a positive growth in Hillsborough.
Thank you so much. Our third question, you have 2 minutes to answer, and here it is. If elected, you will serve an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion not just as a program, but as a core organizational value. Ms. Alcare.
So my DEI journey began when I started at PSU in 2003. And I started to learn about different student needs and demographics and working with students and families to understand what needs they had and how could they go forward. So listening to those voices was really important and paying attention to how I could be of help to them. That was my journey that began. When I joined on council, there were no diversity trainings. There was no incentive to have diversity, equity, inclusion centered as it is now. I advocated for a DEI structure to be developed within the city organization, the creation of jobs, and aligning of DEI values that the council had, values and principles that were set to city projects. Advocate for separation of DEI and HR with the city, and to have somebody as a chief diversity officer oversee the day-to-day operations, oversee job descriptions, hiring practice, and what is the commitment to diversifying from administrative to seasonal part-time staff levels, what is the council's priority there? We needed to have consistency with best practices. When I came on, it was a time that Sanctuary City was tearing the city apart, and a lot of misunderstanding about how to address the needs of people. So a chief diversity officer position that reports direct to the city manager is what I've been asking for the past 5 years. And when I first mentioned that to the city manager, not the current one, he sort of laughed in my face because he'd never heard of that before. Well, that was standard in higher education, and I felt like it was important to have as a role in the city. I care about ongoing DEI. We're not about perfection. We are about learning about how to apply what we learn in DEI to our city practices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Ms. Monteja. The question is, and you have 2 minutes for this, if elected, you will serve in an important and influential role that will shape the future of the Hillsborough community. As a policymaker representing our growing diverse community, how will you advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, not just as a program, but as a core organizational value?
Thank you. Although I wouldn't be the first Latina on Hillsborough City Council, I do represent a new wave of voters and community members that grew up hearing that we could accomplish anything. However, we know that systematic issues within our social institutions still exist, and many barriers still arise for communities of color, low socioeconomic status, and historically underrepresented members in Hillsborough. The way I would advance and uphold diversity, equity, and inclusion as a council member is to always listen, plan, and take action with these 3 core values in mind. Beyond that, I would work towards creating a welcoming environment and uplifting young people to pursue opportunities in local government. I know what it's like being a young woman of color who unfortunately has encountered words of discouragement to run for council, has been dismissed, ignored, and not taken seriously. I did not let the noise distract me, and the courage of my convictions is why I'm still here standing. If we do not address this and change the culture of politics in our community, how do we expect for an equitable representation of our community? Representation matters.
Thank you both so much. And a reminder that Ward 3, you can see it right there in the section of the map. And I'm going to invite each of you to do a closing statement, which you have 1 minute to do. We'll start with you, Ms. Alcare.
It's been a pleasure to serve Hillsborough. This was not an expected path that I chose, but I happened upon it, and it was the best decision I ever made. I've gotten a chance to meet a lot of people, understand our city better, get to see what our infrastructure looks like, and get to meet people from around the city. And those who I've met around the city have been people who I've met by circumstance, such as the recent fires on Main Street, business owners, and people who were displaced by apartments, as well as meeting folks who, walking around our city, encounter oppression and are attacked. And going through that experience and sitting and watching them and wondering, will you ever feel safe in our city again? And assuring them that yes, they can, and that they can rely on public safety and with input from our council to receive the type of support that they should as a sanctuary city. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you, Ms. Bonteja. 1 minute for your closing statement, please.
Thank you to the Hillsborough Library for putting this on, and for all of you taking time out of your evening to come, listen to us make our case. I am ready to take my experience, leadership, and life commitment to City Council. I will listen, be transparent, and accessible. And my hope is that I will inspire the next generation of leaders to partake in public service. Thank you, and I hope you vote for me on November 8th.
Let's give a round of thanks to these two Ward 3. Thank you so much.